What is up, y'all, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And today we're going to be covering some pretty distressing information, a pretty distressing story here. So if you haven't heard, there was a daycare center recently where 5 of the adult supervisors, the daycare providers, really whatever you want to call them, they were in charge of these little kids, making sure that they were safe, doing their work. But they were doing, anything but that. And it got to the point where they threw on some sort of crazy Halloween masks and were like abusing these kids. They were scaring them, shaking them, screaming in their faces. And honestly, I found the video and I watched it, and it was pretty tough to watch. I'm not even going to lie. Like, these are like really little kids. They're just being treated this way. Like, it really is child abuse here. And I've decided I'm not actually going to show the video here. I just think it's maybe a little bit hard to watch for some people. But we will cover the article. Let's jump right into it. The article starts out by saying 5 daycare workers have been charged with child abuse after a video of them terrifying small children with a scary mask similar to the one seen in the Scream film franchise went viral. The incident occurred at Lil Blessing's Child Care and Learning Center in Hamilton, Mississippi, approximately 170 miles northeast of the state's capital city of Jackson, where an undated video of a daycare worker wearing a mask can be seen terrorizing children who are screaming and crying and even paralyzed with fear. "Are you being bad? Do I need to take you outside?" The masked daycare worker can be heard screaming into the face of a small child as they try to bury their face in their arms on the table. In another moment, the woman in the mask can be seen bending down and shrieking in a crying child's face as she shakes in fear. "We are supposed to be cleaning up, monster," the woman who is filming the video can be heard at one point prompting the woman in the mask, who continues stalking the crying and screaming children. At one point, a boy can be seen running away while the woman in the mask chases after him as she screams inches from his face. First things first, man, like, how can you be such a massive piece of shit? What's crazy is it's not even like it's one person doing this. There's like 5 people involved in all of this, and not a single one of them was able to, bring to the other's attention that, hey, this is kind of fucked up what we're doing to these kids. I mean, like, they're little kids after all. I mean, you can see them crying, screaming, and even shaking with fear. And they all just kind of tag team up on these little kids. Like, how fucking pathetic do you have to be to treat a child like this? This is a daycare center. See, these are kids that can't take care of themselves. So they're like within the probably like 3 to 6, 7 maybe age range. And you've got grown-ass fucking women acting this way. Like, that's ridiculous, man. This is literally child abuse, like, in its worst form. And, like, the irony of the situation is one of them refers to the other kids as being monsters, but it's like, no, bitch, you're the real fucking monster here, getting right up in a little child's face, screaming, yelling at them. I from what I understand, there's even some, like, physical abuse, too. I mean, like, these kids are getting shaken. And I don't blame these little kids for acting the way they did. Like, I just don't understand how you can scream at a child, physically assault them, berate them, and honestly expect them to shapen up and act the way that they're wanting them to. So, like, let's nerd out for a second, because anyone who watches the channel pretty frequently knows I'm a psych major. Psychology is just my passion in life. And when I thought about this, I instantly thought of a psychologist by the name of Eric Erickson. He talks about how from a very early age, we're talking like even before we're like 1 year old, we start to question whether we can trust the environment. In fact, I'll throw a graphic up on screen that kind of illustrates my point. But from a very young age, we're taking in all this sensory information. We're seeing how people conduct themselves, how we're treated. And from there, we determine very quickly, believe it or not, what is acceptable. We start forming our own opinions of ourselves. And it just made me think, like, I wonder how these kids are feeling. Like you see on the graph here, feelings of things like inadequacy, guilt, mistrust for the environment. Like, these are very important aspects of life that need to be shaped early on. And these daycare providers, which again are supposed to be there for them to help, rear them up in their education, teach them right from wrong and just overall take care of them, are just straight up neglecting these kids. And quite literally, they're setting, these kids up for failure, because from what I understand, the article goes on to talk about how, how one of the mothers was like mortified at what she was seeing, and rightfully so. And she tells the story about how her kid is like still struggling from this, like days after it even took place. Well, the thing is, the video is undated actually, so this could have been even longer. It was just discovered the other day, and this child is still having trouble sleeping at night, still trembling and shaking. And I just have to think back to psychology and Erik Erikson and how these little kids are being set up for failure, and it's truly sad. But from what I understand, these women have been charged with, child abuse crimes, felonies even. One of them got off the hook a little bit with a couple misdemeanors, so that's kind of unfortunate. I'd love to know a little bit more about her role and see if that is a justifiable punishment or not. But bottom line is, you don't treat a little kid like this. These people are terrible human beings. And honestly, I hope these little kids are able to overcome this. It doesn't affect their psyche too much, and you really, traumatize these kids for life. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Just wanted to give you my opinion on these awful human beings. In my opinion, this is really the closest thing to pure evil there is in this world, to take such extreme measures against little children. But thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, rating, subscribe to the channel for more commentaries just like this. And until next time, guys, this is Runter, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.